There is a story that circulates in whispers and in bold headlines, a narrative that feels both ancient and urgently modern. It is the story of the global elites. The myth suggests that a small, shadowy cabal convenes to orchestrate world events. From financial crashes to global health crises, from wars to elections, this group is said to pull the strings, manipulating societies for their own benefit. This idea is powerful because it offers a simple explanation for a world that often feels chaotic and unjust. But is this narrative a fact? Does a hidden committee truly govern the fate of billions? Or is it a myth that simplifies a more complicated reality? Before we can analyze their power, we must first define who these so-called global elites are. The term itself is vague and can be loaded with different meanings. For some, it refers to billionaires and multimillionaires, individuals whose personal wealth rivals the GDP of small nations. Their financial resources are seen as a primary source of influence. They can fund political movements, control major corporations, shape philanthropic endeavors on a global scale. For others, the term is broader and institutional. Heads of multinationals, top executives of major banks, directors of powerful international organizations, senior government officials from major powers, owners of dominant media conglomerates. Elite conferences like Davos or Bilderberg foster shared worldviews and coordination. The idea that a secret group controls the world is not new, and it thrives in our complex era. Bewildering events make people search for simple answers. A sudden economic downturn, a rapidly spreading pandemic. Our minds seek clean cause and effect explanations. The cabal theory provides a straightforward narrative. They planned it. It also includes elements of truth, widening inequality. Corporate influence and bank bailouts reinforce the sense of a rigged system. The internet and social media bypass gatekeepers and amplify stories at unprecedented speed. Engagement-driven algorithms can create echo chambers and false credibility through repetition. Blaming elites channels powerlessness and anger into a single target. But it can distract from messy systemic problems, policy failures, historical inequities, and globalization's unintended effects. A single secret group controlling everything is a myth, but concentrated wealth and power do exert influence. This influence operates through tangible mechanisms, not hidden magic. The most significant lever is money, flowing via lobbying and campaign donations. In capitals like Washington and Brussels, armies of lobbyists shape laws and regulations. For example, the pharmaceutical industry spent hundreds of millions on US lobbying in 2022, affecting pricing and patent policy. This is legal structured access that embeds corporate interests into law. Media control is another lever. A few conglomerates decide which stories get prominence and how issues are framed. Outright censorship may be rare, but agenda setting is powerful. Wealth funds think tanks and research that produce papers supporting preferred policies. Those materials circulate through media, shaping a credible-seeming intellectual framework. Elites influence international institutions and trade policy. Trade deals often reflect significant corporate input to lower tariffs and regulatory barriers. Organizations set rules for commerce and finance. Recommendations frequently align with international finance and big business. Not a secret cabal, powerful economic actors leveraging established systems. Despite their resources, elites do not control world events absolutely. The world is too vast and complex, with competing interests. Nation-state sovereignty is a powerful check. Corporations face hundreds of governments, legal systems, and political priorities. Deals that benefit some harm others. Stalemates are common. Democratic processes can limit corporate power. Voters, regulators, and courts can restrain powerful actors. Even the largest tech firms face legal consequences. Social movements shift opinion, pressure politicians, and force corporate change. Elites compete for profit, prestige, and policy. Fractures and rivalries prevent a single master plan. Conspiracy theories often begin with a kernel of truth. Powerful people do meet. For instance, the World Economic Forum's annual Davos gathering. A leading question seeds suspicion without evidence. Unrelated dots get linked. A leap from correlation to coordination. This is patternicity, seeing intention in random noise. Emotional language replaces concrete proof. Sources are vague. Lack of evidence is reframed as evidence of secrecy. The myth becomes self-sealing. Contradiction is absorbed as confirmation. The 2008 crisis is often Exhibit A for elite control. The narrative, Greedy, well-connected bankers crashed the economy and walked away. There is truth in the simplified version. Reckless behavior and dangerous products, mortgage-backed securities and credit default swaps spread risk opaquely. Industry influence weakened safeguards. When the bubble burst, governments intervened. Ordinary people suffered while executives faced few consequences. But it wasn't a single secret plan. It was decades of policy, tech change, and culture. From homeownership incentives and low rates to global capital flows and faulty ratings, millions took risky loans. Betting prices would rise. Elites mattered, but they weren't the only actors. It was a catastrophic system failure. Bad incentives, weak oversight, collective delusion. In a flood of claims, check the source. Who is telling you this, and what is their evidence? Prefer organizations with fact-checking and corrections over anonymous or agenda-driven sources. Look for verifiable documents, name testimony, and public datasets. Open a new tab. See if other reliable outlets corroborate the claim. Beware explanations that are too neat or cast heroes versus villains without acknowledging competing interests and unintended consequences. Recognize confirmation bias. Seek good faith perspectives that challenge your views. Critical thinking is disciplined, not cynical. So, do global elites really control the world? The most accurate answer is not a simple yes or no. The puppet master narrative is a myth. The world is too complex and power too fragmented. Yet people with immense wealth and institutional power shape laws, opinion, and policy. Their influence is real but contested. Governments can regulate, courts can prosecute, journalists can expose, citizens can organize, engage, stay informed, participate, support accountability. The world isn't a stage play. It's a project we build together.